Hello. Welcome to my... I still can't get used to that intro, but it's a thing now, so it's happening. Welcome to my AEW Battle of the Belts review. I'm going to go over my predictions, what I got right, what I got wrong, what I thought of the matches, the show as a whole, etc, etc, etc. It's probably going to be quite a quick one. It was only a 1 hour show, which I didn't realise until I started the predictions, and I was like, there's only 3 matches, this must be a 1 hour show. So, yeah, it shouldn't take too long. They kick things off with the interim TNT Championship match between Dustin Rhodes, brother of Cody, who is the TNT champion but couldn't be there for unspecified on TV reasons. I should have checked this. I'm pretty sure I heard, it was COVID. But I don't know. Maybe they'll confirm or deny that. It's just weird that they're not being transparent with it when they usually are. They usually have been quite transparent with stuff like that. Trying to kayfabe us when they don't normally. Anywho, Dustin Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara, the previous TNT champion, for the interim championship. This was supposed to be the rematch between Cody and Sammy, but obviously couldn't happen. They start things off with a handshake. I feel like they did a lot with Dustin to sort of contrast with Cody. You know, this slow burn heel that doesn't think is a heel turn thing they're doing with Cody. They're showing what an actual babyface would act like in these situations. Dustin had a bit of edge to him, but starting with the genuine feeling handshake, whereas Cody can offer a handshake and it feel really insincere. He's very good at the nuance. I know people don't like to compliment Cody, but I think he's doing very well at walking that line and doing a good job of it. So yeah, whereas Dustin was clearly the babyface. Sorry, just having a sip of my drink. I've just got off stream, so I just needed to wet my whistle. There was a weird thing. I didn't really fully understand this. Was he just deliberately slowing the match down to his pace kind of thing? Dustin was acting really gassed early on in the match, and the only things that crossed my mind, one of them's terrible and obviously not the answer, but it did cross my mind. So the first one was that he was trying to slow it down to his pace. The start of the match was very fast, and Dustin was like, "I'm not going to win this fight." So he acted really gassed, knowing that Sammy's a good sport and would give him a bit of respite, and then he could battle at his own pace. That was one option, as to what I thought of. The other one was he was legit gassed, which I don't think is the case. I think Dustin's still in pretty damn good shape, and he wasn't acting that gassed for the rest of the match. So, and the third one was almost like a bit of, I was going to say mocking, but that's probably too strong a word, but referring to the fact that Cody's got COVID, a breathing being affected by it kind of thing. But I really doubt it's that last at least option. But it did cross my mind. I was like, that's not a shot at Cody, is it, somehow? But the only thing I can think, the commentators didn't really elaborate on why he would do it. They didn't seem to elaborate on it during the story of the match. But the only thing I can think was him trying to slow the match down a bit. Anyway, a few other highlights. I'm not going to go play-by-play with this match, or any of the matches with the show. I never do on my reviews. Watch the show at the end of the day if you like wrestling. See just my thoughts on it. You should have already kind of watched it before you watch this, really. Unless you're just watching this to get the results and a brief overview of what happened, in which case, fair enough, but I'm not going to do blow-by-blow. One thing I will mention, though, was Sammy did the gun motion to Arn Anderson. Again, throwback to the I'd pull him out of his car and shoot him promo that became such a meme, which was pretty fun. I did notice that Dustin at one point was willing to take a count out win, quite happy to. So there's a touch of edge to Dustin, he's further along towards the babyface end of the spectrum than Cody is, for sure, but he's still on the spectrum instead of definitively one or the other. You know what I mean? Let me see what else. Oh yeah, then later Dustin was getting counted out, and Arn Anderson kept getting in the way and getting involved and slowing down the count and interfering and whatnot. So again, a little bit of, is it heelish to look out for your client's best interests, as a manager? They're walking that line, aren't they, of what's acceptable to do and what makes you a heel. And I like it. I like this line walking. It's interesting. It's something that doesn't get done that often in wrestling. Not this well anyway, so I'm a fan of it. Sammy ended up doing a springboard to the outside, which was fun, like a double springboard front flip senton type thing. Dustin hit Sammy with a crossroads, and I just noted down, just in general, this is from previous matches as well. Sammy takes the Crossroads so well. He like flips over and spikes himself on the head like a pile driver impact. It's ridiculous. It looks amazing. It makes it look devastating. He kicked out though, which does take away from the devastation of the move somewhat. But yeah, he still made it look devastating. Is his name Fuego del Sol? That's what I wrote down. It's something del Sol anyway. Sammy's friend with the mask from Alabama. The mask isn't from Alabama. The mask might be from Alabama, but what I mean is the friend is from Alabama, and he's wearing a mask. Anyway, he appeared from under the ring and set up a table for Sammy, so there's all sorts of line walking on both sides there. It was just like two guys having a match, not really face-heel dynamics at all. But then it ended up backfiring because Arn chased Del Sol off. I was going to say Fuego then, but I can't remember that that's definitely the first part of his name, so let's call him Del Sol. Arn chased him off up the ramp, so both Arn, the manager, and Fuego Del Sol, let's go with Del Sol, the interferer, were gone from the match, which was good, leaving it 1-on-1. And then Dustin hit a Canadian Destroyer off the apron through the table, which looked pretty brutal. Brought him back in the ring. Hit 2 Crossroads, then went for the Tiger Driver, which I think 2 Crossroads and the Tiger Driver was how Cody beat Sammy for the title. But Sammy countered the Tiger Driver on this instance. And then the finish of the match came when they did some roll-ups back and forth. I think Dustin might have rolled up Sammy first, if I remember rightly. Then Sammy reversed into a roll-up. Then Dustin reversed. Then Sammy reversed. And that one was the 3, which I thought was interesting. The fact that he like properly hooked in, like got it hooked in well and actually got the pin off it. I think it was the second attempt. It could have been the third. I'm pretty sure it was the second. But either way, this was a good match. I put good, not great. It was a good match. It was neither Sammy nor Dustin's best outing. Both of them had a better match with Cody than each other. Make of that what you will. It was good. It was good. It was acceptable. I enjoyed the match. I just wasn't blown away by it, but we shouldn't be expecting to be blown away by every match, but I have to give my opinion on things, and this was good, not great, in my opinion. And I was 1 from 1. I picked Sammy to win. I felt like every match there was like a 90% chance winner and a 10% chance winner. I don't think any were 100%. I called them locks at the start of the prediction video, then I started talking myself out of pretty much each one. But yeah, Sammy was the 90% on this one, and I got him right. Dustin showed good sportsmanship at the end of the match, shook his hand and walked off. And then Daniel Garcia, who had been shown in the ring watching the match, got in the ring and they ended up having a brawl, him and Sammy. And commentary played up Garcia's been having issues with the inner circle, but Sammy's not really been involved in that, so it felt like a little bit of a stretch. But Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara will be a great match, for which I think was it announced for Dynamite this week? I know Sammy cut a promo later in the show, which I didn't actually specifically write anything down about, but and I know he basically challenged him, and I think it was made official. I think it was for Dynamite. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So yeah, that's a fun match that's going to happen. A little bit of a reach for the reason, but hey, who cares? You know, as Sammy said, the TNT title's always been about open challenges. I suppose they could have just open challenged and Daniel Garcia answers, but with the link, they figured they might as well play on it a little bit, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they could have had Garcia and 2.0 come down and then have Proud and Powerful do the make the save and make it like bring Sammy into the feud that way kind of thing and whatnot. That would have been fun. Then they could have done Proud and Powerful versus 2.0 and Guevara versus Garcia on Dynamite. Anyway. Fantasy booking, whatever. It's fantasy booking a one show storyline. What am I doing? Next up was Matt Sydal challenging Ricky Starks for the FTW Championship. So obviously Ricky Starks had Powerhouse Hobbs with him at ringside, who chased Justin Roberts off his chair. Said, "I want a chair, move," basically, which was pretty fun. At one point they went to the outside. Ricky Starks was like recovering on the outside, and Hobbs was just getting in the way of Matt Sydal, which I think the referee didn't have a go at him enough about. Didn't reprimand. That's the word. Didn't reprimand him enough for it, in my opinion. He just sort of watched. They just sort of watched like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's like, move him, you know. But yeah, it was I put it was a fun, fast-paced match, which you'd expect from these two. I didn't make a lot of notes on this one like the first one. There wasn't so many standout story beats. Like, there was great moves and great combinations of moves, but you might have noticed most of what I talked about was story beats in the Sammy Dustin match, because that's what makes the match. You can put any two talented wrestlers together and they can do a lot of excellent wrestling moves and put together a decent enough match that's entertaining, start to finish, no context needed. But it's the little story beats that make the match matter within a context of an ongoing storyline and TV show, in my opinion. So that's probably why I call those things out more. But yeah, Starks picks up the win with the Rochambeau. Clean, by the way. Hobbs was not anywhere near involved in the finish from what I remember. And I'm 2 from 2. Again, there was the 10% chance that Dante Martin cost Ricky Starks the FTW title to continue their feud. But instead, they did the other way of continuing the feud, which was after the match, Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs beat down Matt Sydal. And then first Lee Moriarty, who's apparently a protege of Matt Sydal now. I still get to keep up with all this stuff. I think it's mostly happening on Dark and Dark Elevation, which I don't watch. He tried to make the save, but he got beat down, and then Dante Martin comes in, makes the save. Obviously, make Dante look like a bigger deal than Lee Moriarty, because he is higher up the totem pole than him at the moment. So yeah, no problem with that. Final match, main event of the evening, was Riho challenging Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, for the Women's World Championship. I put here there was a lot of interference. There was a weird spot where Jamie Hayter threw from Jamie Hayter and Rebel, by the way, who came out with Britt Baker. She threw the belt into the ring, and then Rebel got ejected, and it sort of felt like it was maybe building for a Hayter turn, but I didn't think that was going to happen. But then Riho knocked Britt Baker into Jamie Hayter, who was up on the apron, and then I thought, there's all this miscommunication. Maybe they are going to take the belt off Baker so she can go into a feud with Hayter and just have Riho carry the title. But I didn't ever think that was the right decision. But for a split second or two, I doubted my prediction, which was Britt Baker. But sure as grass is green, some of it is, most of it, I don't know. Don't know the statistics on that. Who cares? Britt Baker hit the curb stomp, followed by locking in the lockjaw for the submission win. Riho tapped out. We didn't do any, look how brave I am, passing out instead of tapping out nonsense, which was good. Put the lockjaw over big, which is great. And I was 3 from 3 in predictions. The thing I would say about this entire show... after the match, Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter had a hug and made up, which was lovely. So they're still on the same page for now, but they are slow building to Baker versus Hayter. I assume for the title, but there was a moment in that match where I thought there was enough going wrong where they were going to actually switch it to Riho, but only briefly. Anywho, yeah, the show as a whole, I would say, was good, not great, like I said about the first match. I don't think there was anything standout on the show. I think everything on the show was good. Maybe a lot of the things were great, like were really good, very good. I don't know how you want to rate these things, but nothing was like mind-blowing, in my opinion. But it was a good show, all in all. Let me know in the comments what you thought of it. I'd be curious to know if you disagree, if you think it was phenomenal, or if you think I'm overrating it a little bit, or if you sort of agree that, yeah, it was good, but it didn't feel like must-see TV, which I thought it was going to feel a lot more like, honestly. With how they were building it up. Honestly, this week's Dynamite was a bigger battle of the belts than this. We had the TBS title final, we had the world title, and we had the tag titles, which to me is a bigger deal than an interim TNT championship, an FTW made up championship, and the women's title, which is the only one that was really that important, and it was just a defense. Oh, by the way, I just want to mention, commentary, you need to shut up about the fact that Britt Baker had never beaten Riho in that match, because if you get in that situation again, you were telegraphing the fact that she was going to win so badly, like doing it on Dynamite beforehand, doing it on in the weeks building up, doing it throughout the match. Every time you said it, I was like, no, I'm right. Yeah, I was more and more convinced I was right that Britt Baker was winning. You were just really telegraphing it. Not that you're watching this, but I'm addressing the commentary team. But yeah, overall, good, not great. Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and just to support the channel if you'd like to show some love. Also, don't forget to subscribe so that you can see more. See more butts. No, so that you can see more content from me. Hopefully tomorrow, fingers crossed, I don't want to promise anything, but tomorrow should be my Impact Hard to Kill review, which was on the same night. It started at the same time. I chose to watch AEW live and do the review of that first, because I thought it'd be a bigger deal, but honestly, I haven't seen any spoilers for Hard to Kill, but having watched AEW and looked at the card of Impact, I kind of wish I'd watched Impact and done it the opposite way around. But maybe let me know in the comments which you think was the better match. I'll probably be avoiding the comments though until I've watched Hard to Kill at the very least. But for now, all I have left to say is thank you very much for watching. As always, I've been Ebeza, you've been amazing, and I will see you next time.